What's one of the most precious natural resources on Earth? Here are some hints. We use it nearly every day. It often falls from the sky. Many different kinds of plants and animals call it their home. Human survival depends on it. It covers over 70% of the Earth's surface, and it even flows into our homes. If you haven't guessed what it is yet, this valuable natural resource is water. The water biome is the largest biome on Earth. During the next few minutes, we're going to explore some of the general characteristics of the water biome. We'll also take a look at the different types of water biomes and explore some of the plants and animals that live in water. When viewed from space, the Earth looks like a large blue marble. This is because Earth is covered mostly with water. Most of the water is in the Earth's oceans. In fact, about 70% of the water on the Earth's surface is ocean water. Ocean biomes are referred to as marine biomes. The water in marine biomes is salty. The water is so salty that drinking it will make you even thirstier. Thousands of different kinds of plants and animals live in marine water. We'll discuss marine biomes in more detail shortly. The other major type of aquatic biome is the freshwater biome. Freshwater is found in running streams or rivers, while standing water is found in lakes and ponds. We'll discuss freshwater biomes a little later. The vast majority of salt water lies in the Earth's oceans, but some salt water lies in seas and in saltwater lakes, such as Mono Lake, seen here. But we'll spend most of our time talking about the oceans. Ocean conditions vary depending on location, but some general similarities do exist. For example, oceans absorb heat during the warm seasons and hold it during colder seasons. Therefore, ocean temperatures remain fairly steady, unlike the large temperature fluctuations found on land. The temperature of ocean water does tend to vary by latitude, with tropical water being warmer than Arctic waters. The depth of ocean water also has a great effect on temperature, as does the amount of light that filters through the water. As depth increases, the amount of light decreases. Generally speaking, as depth increases, temperature decreases as well. The salt content or salinity of ocean water can also vary depending on location. All these factors have a great influence on where different types of organisms live in the ocean. You decide. Is this a plant or an animal? Even though this looks like a plant, it's actually an animal called a sea anemone. Sea anemones are hollow-bodied animals that capture prey, such as fish, with their tentacles. Located on the tips of their tentacles are chemicals that have the ability to paralyze prey. Sea anemones are just one example of the thousands of fascinating organisms that live in the ocean. Ocean organisms can be divided into three main groups based on where they live in the ocean. Organisms that live on the ocean floor are called benthos or benthic organisms. What is the benthic organism seen here? That's right, this rock crab is a benthic organism. It moves across the ocean floor in search of food, capturing prey with its claws. Snails are benthic organisms, as are starfish. Organisms that float in the ocean and are carried by ocean currents are called plankton. Jellyfish are one type of plankton. These small crustaceans are another type of plankton called zooplankton. Large animals, such as whales, depend on zooplankton for food. You decide. What do you call these plant-like organisms? These microscopic plant-like plankton are called phytoplankton. Phytoplankton create food from the sun's energy and are a very important organism in the ocean, serving as the base of the food chain. Phytoplankton are also a major contributor to Earth's oxygen supply. The third major group of free-swimming organisms are called nekton. Some examples of nekton include fish, seals, and sharks. You wouldn't expect to see a whale in a shallow pool along the ocean shore, nor would you find this crab in the deep ocean. Factors such as the amount of sunlight, temperature, water pressure, and the movement of water determine where organisms live in the ocean. The area along the shoreline is rich with life. This area, called the Intertidal Zone, is covered by water at high tide, but is not covered by water at low tide. Therefore, organisms that live in the intertidal zone must be able to cope with a constantly changing environment. Changes in temperature, salinity, wave action, and water levels are all threats to the survival of intertidal organisms, as are exposure to sun, wind, and predators such as this gull. For example, organisms that live on sandy beaches must be able to cope with constantly moving sand. Therefore, animals such as this razor clam burrow deep into the sand to maintain their position. On rocky shores that are subject to the pounding of ocean surf, brown algae, such as this rockweed, attach themselves to the rocks. As the tide goes out, intertidal pools provide a place where animals, such as crabs, can take refuge until the tide rises. Beyond the intertidal zone is the Neuridic Zone. The Neuridic Zone consists of shallow water above the continental shelf and is generally less than 300 meters deep. This zone is full of life. Nutrients from the land wash into coastal waters, providing needed nutrients for plant-like algae, such as kelp, and for microscopic plant-like phytoplankton. Organisms such as starfish, scallops, and lobsters live in this zone, as do hundreds of different fish species. Beyond the continental shelf lies the open ocean. At its deepest point, the open ocean contains water that is nearly 7 miles or over 11 kilometers deep. Light penetrates the upper portion of the open ocean. However, at depths below 200 meters, the ocean world is dominated by darkness, cold temperatures, and great pressure. This means the deep ocean is not as biologically productive as coastal waters. But many different kinds of organisms do live there. And scientists exploring these waters are still learning a great deal about life that lives in this deep, dark, cold part of the ocean. You decide. What is an estuary? An estuary is an area where a river or stream meets the ocean. It's the place where fresh water and salt water mix. Estuaries tend to be areas of high biological productivity, providing an abundance of food for a wide range of animals. The Chesapeake Bay, pictured here in a satellite image, is quite large, as is the St. Lawrence River estuary in Quebec, Canada. But this estuary, in which a small stream flows into the ocean, is quite small. Regardless of the size of an estuary, they're fascinating places with a wide variety of plants and animals. Estuaries are also extremely important sources of food, providing us with crabs, shrimp, and many different kinds of fish. While the oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, freshwater covers much less of the surface. You decide. What percentage of the Earth's surface does freshwater cover? Freshwater only covers between 2 and 3% of the Earth's surface. Even though freshwater covers a limited part of the Earth, it's extremely important to us. Much of the water we drink comes from lakes and rivers. Lakes and rivers also serve as transportation routes for ships and are great places to recreate. Freshwater biomes can be divided into two main types: running water, which includes streams and rivers, and standing water, such as lakes and ponds. This mountain stream is moving rapidly downhill. The cool water holds large amounts of oxygen, enabling fish, such as trout, to thrive. An abundance of aquatic insects and their larvae serve as a source of food for fish, as well as amphibians, such as frogs, and invertebrate animals, such as crayfish. Rivers are larger bodies of running water. The Connecticut River is a large river and serves as a major shipping route and water source. Like many rivers, it provides a home to otters, many species of fish, turtles, and hundreds of different kinds of invertebrate animals. Perhaps you've taken a swim in a lake or pond. Unlike streams and rivers, these bodies of water do not have a strong current. Ponds tend to be smaller than lakes, and light penetrates to the bottom. Plants, such as these cattails, take root close to the shore in ponds. Other plants, such as these water lilies, thrive further from the shore. Some examples of pond animals include crayfish, fish, frogs, and turtles. Lakes tend to be larger bodies of water. They're also deeper than ponds, and therefore light does not penetrate to the bottom. This wetland area is a swamp. You decide. What is a swamp? Swamps are wetland areas in which shrubs and even trees grow. Cypress swamps in the southeastern United States are dominated by cypress trees and are home to a wide variety of birds, turtles, as well as the American alligator. During the past few minutes, we've taken a look at the different types of water biomes, beginning with the ocean. We took a look at some of the different characteristics of the ocean biome, as well as some of the plants and animals that live in different parts of the ocean. We also took a quick look at some of the characteristics of freshwater biomes, such as streams, rivers, ponds, and lakes. as well as swamps. So the next time you swim in the ocean, sail in a boat, or paddle down a river, think about some of the characteristics of water biomes. You just might look at water a little differently. Fill in the correct word when you hear this tone. Good luck, and let's get started. Number 1. The oceans cover about of the earth. Number 2. Ocean water temperature remains relatively. Number 3. As depth increases, the amount of light Number 4. Organisms that live on the ocean floor are called. Number 5. Are organisms that float in the ocean. Number 6. The zone consists of water above the continental shelf. Number 7. An is the area where a river or stream meets the ocean. Number 8. Estuaries are areas high in. Number 9. In. Light penetrates to the bottom. Number 10. Swamps are wetland areas that have.